Thanks for joining us for the podcast today. I am Mike Monteforte, and I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Sarah Turcotte. Sarah, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. So this is the first podcast in our new office, so I'm really psyched about it. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining me. So real quick, give me the 30,000 foot view, couple of sentences about who you are and what you do, and then we'll get into all the details and the specific stuff. And this is going to be a really good episode today. The information you have is so valuable to our clients, so they're really going to enjoy it.
Thank you.
So shout it at me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike, for having me. So I am Sarah Turcotte. I'm the Area Community Liaison for EPOCH Senior Living. At EPOCH Senior Living, we offer both memory care with our Bridges by EPOCH Dementia Care Assisted Living, and we also have high-end independent and assisted living with our Waterstone communities. So we are a local resource to both seniors as well as their local caregivers as they're exploring senior care living.
Right. And just having a resource where people can turn is great, because folks get overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. I remember when my own family was in that same position, and just knowing where to start and how to take that first step is really difficult. So for folks that are exploring this, to be able to have a resource to go to is great. And I want to talk in detail about Waterstone, because that's relatively new, and we chatted a little bit about it already, and it's something that I really want our clients to know about. But before we get to that, so let me ask you this. A question that I'm asked all the time is, how did I get into elder law? How did I get into estate planning? And all my clients know my story already, that I got into it initially to help my grandparents, and kind of found my calling and decided, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to make my life's work. So how did you find your way into the field?
Into the world of dementia care. So my story is a bit funny. I actually started when I was still in high school, if you can believe it or not. So I too come from a personal experience. I had two family members who lived with dementia, specifically Alzheimer's. And when I was in high school, I ended up getting a job on a memory care floor, believe it or not, as a housekeeper.
Okay.
And it didn't work out very well, because I spent more time with the residents than I did my housekeeping duties.
Stop chatting and get to cleaning up.
But it's a true story. But luckily, I had met a mentor, a fabulous mentor, and she said to me, Sarah, you are destined to be with memory care individuals. You just have a special knack for connecting, and the rest was really history. I've done everything in the world of memory care assisted living, certified nursing assistant. My longest stint was really focusing on recreational therapy and building programs and engagement opportunities for those living with cognitive impairment. Gotcha. 20 years ago, a lot has changed.
Very different.
In the world of dementia care. So to be a part of just kind of changing the landscape and offering better opportunities and life enriching engagement opportunities that even you and I would enjoy. Sure. And how do we adapt it all to have memory impaired people enjoy lifestyle?
Right. And I love how you're saying enjoy life, because when people think about, especially any type of facility-based care, folks start thinking about, that's where you go to die. And maybe 30 years ago, 20 plus years ago, maybe there was some truth to that. But really, today, I feel like we're trying to maximize quality of life and make sure that people do still get enjoyment out of their lives. And facilities like yours are striving to do that, and I love that. I find that super important. So let's get a little bit into for folks that are watching and just maybe getting started on their journey. A lot of times we have kids that are coming in to talk about their parents, and they're in a position where maybe living at home isn't the best situation for them anymore, and they're not sure what to do. Talk to me about the facility. Talk to me about the services provided. Sure. Let's chat about Bridges first, and then I want to hit
Waterstone too.
Talk a little bit about
Waterstone, yes, because they're both great options. So, at Bridges, we are meeting families at all various stages of their journey. Some families are really great at future planning, and some families, sometimes unfortunately, it takes almost a crisis situation to happen. So we are really meeting families sometimes at the more earlier stage of their journey, or sometimes at maybe the more moderate to advanced stages. I always tell folks education is key. So if you have a suspicion or your loved one recently got a diagnosis, that we can be a support to you. The best part about Bridges by EPOCH is we are a community resource, not just for the families and residents that are living with us, because truth be told, most people are aging in place at home successfully until they need more comprehensive care.
Yes.
So families who are reaching out to us most of them are actually caring for a loved one at home. So when they reach out to us, we have really a plethora of resources for people to take advantage of even while they're at home. Our support groups are really great for connecting other caregivers and sharing resources that they're finding helpful.
Yeah.
But our education, much like what you offer, is truly the biggest support. We're helping our caregivers fill their tool belt with learning ways to communicate if difficult symptoms or behaviors are coming up within their disease. We're really educating them as to how to meet their loved one where they are, to have better success with communicating.
Sure.
And just engagement opportunities. You talked a little bit about the quality of life, and social engagement and stimulation is so important for our memory impaired population. So we're really educating our families and caregivers how they can connect and how can they bring engagement and stimulation to their loved one and keep them involved in the greater community.
Right.
We all strive our entire life to be a part of our community and giving and kind of having meaning and purpose.
Sure.
And just because people are living with cognitive impairment doesn't mean they can't do the same.
Right.
So, that's kind of where families start. We learn where they are in their journey and we kind of piece together what resource is going to most help them. Is it just the education and support at first, or are they more needing that hands-on help and looking to come to Bridges as a care option?
Right.
At Bridges we have the 24-hour nursing and age-in-place model where we can care for residents through end of life. But most families, when they do make that decision to come to memory care, it's oftentimes because safety is a concern or caregiver burnout, where you don't have to, call Bridges because you're looking to make a move. We're honestly helping people throughout that process and trying to navigate it all.
And what you're mentioning about education as well. So I'm on your email list, and so I can attest to the fact that you guys are always, you're putting your money where your mouth is here, because educational programs that you guys are running and the support groups and things like that are happening all the time. So I see it constantly, and education is a big part of what we do here. We love to educate our clients about this stuff, and the fact that you guys do the same, it's just something that I enjoy when I get those emails. I'm looking, because there are times where I want to, we're always looking to educate my team here and making sure that we're staying abreast of new trends. And so there are times where we take something that you guys are doing and we get together as a group and watch it, and families can do the same thing and really take advantage of that.
I'm so glad to hear that, because that's exactly why we're offering it. I mean, it's not just family. We are all going to know someone who has dementia. I mean, unfortunately, they say 1 in 6 mailboxes has someone with dementia living behind it. So for our organization, I feel so lucky that EPOCH Senior Living truly allows us to be that resource, because we're out there helping families and people regardless if they're ever living at our community. So to be known as that dementia care resource, and have people call us when they need help, it's truly a gift.
Yeah, and you really are. Like I said, being able to provide information is so important to families, because they get overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to get started. So to be able to reach out is great. And just to touch on one of the things you mentioned about education, being able to talk to families about how to communicate with someone that's dealing with symptoms of this, regardless of what stage they're at. communication is really difficult. And I remember going through it with my grandfather, and I remember even at the beginning, before we really knew what was going on, if he got something wrong, we would be correcting him. No, Papa, that wasn't yesterday. That was last week. But he would insist, no, it was yesterday. And especially early on, when again we didn't really know what was going on, we'd be almost, no, it was yesterday. And
trying to reason.
Yes, and then we kind of figure out along the way that all we're doing by doing that is making him upset, but we didn't have anybody to tell us, hey, here's how to deal with that. Here's how you communicate on an issue like that, so that we're not making things worse. And I think that there were times where we did make him feel upset or even embarrassed because he was realizing he wasn't remembering correctly, because we didn't have information about how we should be communicating. So just the fact that you mentioned that, and that being able to help people communicate is it's invaluable.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you sharing that, because that's exactly what I say our education does, is it truly fills our caregivers' tool belt.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when someone gets a diagnosis, and there's over 60 types of dementia, so everyone's going through this differently, but no matter the diagnosis, it doesn't come with the handbook. Yeah. So being able to share this education, if we can help, one family connect a little bit easier or make their interactions on this journey a little easier, we've done our job.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things you mentioned was caregiver burnout. Mm-hmm. So I'm very familiar with that, but for people that are watching the podcast, listening, or maybe haven't heard that term before, tell me, what that is, because it's a real thing.
It really truly is. And I mean, truth of the matter, we sometimes worry more about our caregivers than the person living with memory impairment. Mm-hmm. And it's because they put themselves through the ringer. I mean, the caregiver takes on a lot, right?
Yeah.
They've changed their routine. They are taking on managing their loved one's care and wishes. And most caregivers don't even realize that they're burnt out. But they're burning, both ends, right? They're trying to manage everything, trying to keep up with their own personal lives and health, right? And always typically putting someone else first. So I always tell caregivers, if you are feeling just sometimes like you want to throw in the towel, or you find yourself not doing things or participating with activities that you once did. Yeah. And it could be something as simple as meeting a friend for a coffee, or you're not going on the daily walks that you once did. It could be something so small. You should really reach out for support. Yeah. And it could be a support group. It could be asking a friend or family member or a hired service for just 4 hours a day to give yourself some time, because if we're not filling our cup, you're eventually going to not be able to keep up with the demands of being a caregiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes we actually see caregivers putting their own health at risk, and you're not going to be able to care for your loved one if you're sick. So I think that stress, we've actually seen and learned a lot about stress, right, over the pandemic, and how we're managing it, because it truly does affect someone's health.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like they say on the airplane, you put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on anyone else.
Exactly.
You're no good to anyone else if you're down. But we see it a lot too with our clients, that they focus so much on the individual they're taking care of that they forget about that self-care and not just their health, but even, like you said, doing things that you used to do, like meeting a friend or going for walks. And those things fall by the wayside because they're putting someone else first, but it ends up hurting them, and that leads to that burnout, which is just, again, it's a real thing. And like you said, feeling like you're ready to throw in the towel because you just can't do it anymore. It happens all the time.
It does. I mean, it's the caregiver stress. It really does lead to depression, anxiety, and stress that can truly affect someone's health.
Absolutely.
So important to really keep it. Just be aware of how you're feeling and know that you're human. You're not alone when you're feeling like you're at your wit's end. And when it comes to dementia, you know, it's a progressive disease, and caregivers can do a really great job caring for someone. But I think the thing is to pay attention to when you need that extra help.
Right.
Because at some point, someone living with this illness will need more comprehensive help. So don't put your own health at stake before you get there.
Yeah, and trying to recognize that point isn't always easy. But like you said, it's progressive, and so, you know, care that I'm providing today isn't necessarily going to work tomorrow, and then, you know, eventually you can get to that point where this person's needs are beyond what I have the capacity to do. So using that as a little bit of a segue, and again, before we get to Waterstone, which I really want to talk a lot about, talk to me a little bit more about Bridges as far as the facility-based options that you guys have.
So Bridges, we are all dementia care. We are built the ground up to support those living with cognitive impairment. So everything from our design, our color contrast, the artwork we hang on our wall, the therapeutic gardens outside, everything is built keeping the memory impaired person in mind and really trying to create an environment where someone can be as independent as they possibly can be. However, our models are meant for residents to age in place. So we have supports, even though we're memory care assisted living, we're a little different because we offer things like 24-hour nursing care in the community. We offer various levels of care. You know, we are able to help someone who's maybe a little more independent, needs some cueing, some guidance, things laid out for them, all the way to someone who might be a 2-person assist or full feeding assistance. You know, we work with great services such as hospice care to truly allow our residents to age in place. We also have wonderful programming. I mean, our programming is something we invest in because we have wonderful care, we have wonderful food, all important things, but we were talking about this life enrichment and engagement and stimulation. So we have programming that happens 7 days a week. I mean, there's more to life than bingo and sing-alongs. I say that, but it is so true. I mean, our residents are living vibrant lifestyles. They actually, some of our residents volunteer at local homeless shelters, or they might volunteer at a local horse farm or even the local school. We really find enriching programs that are built to really engage our residents and get them involved in the community. We also at Bridges, you know, like I was saying with the supportive education, we have dementia care specialists and educators that work at Bridges, but we also have really great partnerships with folks like McLean Hospital, as well as other local Jerry Psych providers that come in and help our residents with support like that. So for our residents to come to Bridges, they can get primary care option, Jerry Psych, PT, OT, even on-site dental and audiology. I mean, we're really trying to make it so that our residents can really just enjoy the lifestyle and have everything else come to them. We're really trying to simplify and make life easier.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I like that idea of volunteering. It gives you a sense of purpose, you know. Right now at this point in my life, you know, I look at, okay, I have my job and I have my family, and that's kind of where my sense of purpose in life comes from. But, you know, when that day finally comes where I can retire and take a little bit of a break, that's what I think about is, well, can I volunteer? How else can I help? And you know, just so that I feel like I'm still useful, you know, and so being able to have those opportunities for people to where they're still able to help others is great. And I don't see that as much as like, I feel like that should be something that's looked at more, and it's great that you guys do that and that you put a focus on it.
I can't agree with you more. I remember once upon a time 20 years ago when I started, most dementia care options were on the 3rd floor. We didn't use the bus, we didn't have the same activities, and I always thought to myself back then, well, why? You know, just because they don't remember tomorrow doesn't mean that they can't enjoy in the moment. So it's been truly a pleasure to really transform the landscape of how, you know, what we're doing and offering to the dementia care population.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So let's talk. I wanted to get to this. Let's talk about now changing gears and let's talk about Waterstone. So for people that are checking out the podcast and follow us, give me kind of a little bit of explanation of what Waterstone is, because when you and I last met and we were talking about this, this blew me away. So.
Well, Waterstone really is, it's truly high-end, independent, and assisted living. It is like country club living. We have beautiful locations here in Massachusetts, over in Boston at Cleveland Circle, Waterstone of Wellesley, and Waterstone Lexington. So really great areas close by to Boston. They offer, both 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom studio apartments. They are beautiful. Everything from just independent lifestyle, from, they have a beautiful gym with a trained Boston Fitness partnership.
Wow.
They have, a beautiful anytime dining, so residents can come and enjoy that, lunch, breakfast, lunch, or dinner anytime. Or they can take it to go to their room if they really choose to. They have a wonderful transportation system. I love at Waterstone that their transportation is not just meant for medical appointments. Mm-hmm. They can go into the Boston Symphony Orchestra and get dropped off and enjoy a show and be picked back up.
Sure.
But the independent lifestyle is superb. I mean, we have some residents that, come and retire with us that were MIT professors or elder law attorneys like yourself. I mean, we have really just an elite group of people that are there, and they share a love of education and enriching, engagement programs, from art classes to, like I said, the fitness program is huge over there. And then they have the assisted living. So as someone may need a little more support, they do have the assisted living option so that they can still live in this beautiful, lifestyle while getting the help and support that they need.
And they're gorgeous. There's no other way to say it. Is I look at that and say, I'd move there now.
I keep asking if there's an employee discount, but I haven't got there yet. But they do offer some of them, not all of them, but some of the Waterstone communities do also offer an affordable program, which is nice to know.
Yeah.
I would always say, just ask and check it out, because you never know what options may be available to you.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that. If I want to find out more information about bridges, everything from aging in place to facility based, or I want to find out more about Waterstone, how do I get started? If I'm a research type, do I go online or do I pick up the phone? Tell me kind of what my step one is.
Yeah, I mean, however you're comfortable. I think everyone can Google search, right? So if you go to EPOCH Senior Living, you could look up both the Waterstone and the Bridges communities at EPOCH Senior Living, or you can visit bridgesbyepoch.com to explore all the various Bridges communities, as well as the education and supportive programming that they offer. You can sign up for those programs right online.
Okay, perfect.
Or you can always call me directly. I've been working for Bridges for 12 years this year, and I know all of the teams. So if you call me, I can really understand where you're located. Are you exploring assisted living, independent living, or do you need memory care support? And I'd be happy to connect you to the best team. And my number is 781-330-9424. And you can always reach out to me. That's the thing, is everyone is needing something different. So just having that conversation and understanding, what is it that you're looking for? What is important to you? And, is there care support needed? And we can work together to really figure out what avenue would be best for you.
Perfect. So go online, or you can reach out to Sarah directly. Any of our clients that happen to be coming in to see me anytime soon, we have the brochures here. So we're happy to share them. The facilities are beautiful. The educational resources are amazing. We'll make sure that we put that information up on the screen as well for anybody watching. But this is something that folks really should check out. I think regardless of where you are in your journey, it's great information. The educational resources are awesome, but also being able to get a look at these facilities and the way that you guys enrich quality of life is just great. So
Thank you. No, I agree with you. Just reach out, because no matter where you are, if it's not Bridges, if it's not Waterstone, we will definitely get you a resource that's helpful.
That's perfect. All right, Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for
I
having
appreciate
me.
it. This is great information. I think our clients and people that follow us are going to really enjoy this. I knew they would, so I was super excited. And
Thank
thanks for
you.
being our first guest at our new location. So thanks
And
so
you
much.
got to come check out their new location, because it is a beautiful office
Oh,
space here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much.